Why is it that some people become permanent residents in our minds? You can't shake them. Years can pass, new relationships can form, but their essence remains. It's not always the person you'd expect. It's often not the most conventionally beautiful, the most successful, or even the kindest. It's someone else. It's the person who, for a reason you cannot name, changed the air in the room when they walked in. Meanwhile, other people, wonderful, brilliant, good people, pass through our lives like a pleasant afternoon and then they're gone. They just fade. What is this invisible, haunting quality? What is the difference between being liked and being unforgettable? It is not a tactic, it is not a game, it is not about negging or playing hard to get. The great psychologist Carl Jung suggested that when we are truly, deeply hooked by another, it's not by their personality but by their soul. We are witnessing a profound, unconscious archetypal event. Today, we are exploring the one that is perhaps the most potent. We are not talking about attraction. We are talking about the kind of feminine energy that doesn't just attract a man, it imprints on him. It obsesses him, not in a dangerous way, but in a soul-deep way. And by the end of this, you will understand that this magnetic power has nothing to do with performance, and everything to do with a kind of courage that most people are too terrified to embody. The great performance. From a very young age, most of us are taught to be palatable. Be nice, be accommodating, be easygoing, don't be too much, don't be difficult, don't be angry. We are handed a script and we learn our part. We become the cool girl who is always low maintenance. We become the nurturing mother who has no needs of her own. We become the supportive partner who smiles and agrees even when her soul is screaming no. We learn to perform. Carl Jung had a name for this flawless, public-facing mask, the persona. And we play our parts brilliantly, but there is a devastating, hidden cost to this performance. When you spend your entire life as the persona, you become hollow inside. You are all light, all smiles, all agreement, all yes, and in doing so you cast a massive shadow. The shadow, in Jung's terms, is every part of you that you've disowned to be likable. It's your no, it's your anger, it's your boundaries, it's your grief, it's your wild, inconvenient, messy, authentic truth. And the psychic energy it takes to hold that shadow down, to be nice when you are furious, to be calm when you are grieving, to be supportive when you feel betrayed, that is the greatest energy vampire in existence. A man might like this performance, he might even find it comfortable, he might marry it. But his soul, his unconscious, will never be obsessed by it. Why? Because a mask, no matter how beautiful, has no depth. It is not real. And the soul, his and yours, only ever craves what is real. He may not know it, but he can feel that something is missing. The woman who is all light and no shadow feels thin, like a beautiful photograph with no life. The anima and the mirrors. Here is the secret. The feminine energy that obsesses a man has almost nothing to do with him liking you. It has to do with him recognizing himself in you. Deep within the male psyche, Jung said, lives an inner feminine archetype. He called it the anima. This is his own, often unconscious, connection to his soul, to mystery, to creativity, to his own emotional depths. For many men, this inner part is dormant, undeveloped, almost unknown. He interacts with the world and with women through his own persona. But then he meets her. The woman who is not performing. The woman who has been to her own darkness and is not afraid of it. The woman who has integrated her own shadow. She is not just nice, she is whole. She can be both tender and fierce. She can be both vulnerable and unshakable. She is not a cool girl, she is a real woman. Her presence, her wholeness, acts as a key. It unlocks his own anima. He doesn't just see her, he sees his own soul reflected in her. This is why the feeling is so profound, so instantaneous, and so unsettling. It doesn't feel like dating. It feels like destiny. It feels like coming home. He is not obsessed with her. He is obsessed with the feeling of wholeness he experiences in her presence. He is obsessed with the part of himself that she awakens. He cannot get this feeling from a pleaser, because a pleaser is not whole, and therefore the mirror is broken. The paradoxes of the whole woman. So what does this whole energy actually look like? It is not a checklist of traits, it is a series of paradoxes. It is the ability to hold both sides. 1. She is kind but not nice. Nice is a performance rooted in the fear of conflict. Nice is a lie, kind is a strength rooted in truth. A kind woman can and will deliver a hard truth, but she will do it with a compassion that heals rather than wounds. A man trusts this. He may not always like what she says, but his soul respects it. Her honesty is captivating. 2. She has boundaries made of self-respect, not walls built from fear. A wall is a sign of trauma, it pushes everyone away. A boundary is a sign of health. It simply teaches people where she ends and they begin. A man isn't rejected by her no. He is forced to respect it. This act of her protecting her own energy is, paradoxically, what makes him feel safer with her, not less. 3. She is anchored, not clingy. She does not need him for her happiness. Her happiness is her own project, her own sacred garden. She chooses to share it with him. This freedom from need is the most magnetic quality on earth. He is not her rescuer. He doesn't have to fix her. He gets to be her partner. This frees him to be his own authentic self rather than a role for her. 4. She embodies both light and shadow. She is not just sunshine and rainbows. She has been to her own dark places. She is not afraid of sadness. She is not afraid of anger, hers or his. She has an old soul quality because she has integrated her pain, her flaws. She is not a perfect, polished figure of light. She is a whole human being, and that wholeness, that realness, is infinitely more compelling than perfection. The danger and the price. The woman who performs, the one who is only nice and agreeable, pays a terrible price. She becomes invisible. She may be appreciated, she may be reliable, but she is never cherished, not in that soul-deep obsessive way. She feels a constant, low-grade loneliness even when she's in a relationship. She gives and gives, hoping to finally be seen, and in the end she is left empty. But the woman who is whole, her path is not easy either. To be this kind of mirror for a man is a profound, and sometimes dangerous, event. When he sees his soul in you, he also sees his shadow, his unhealed wounds, his own inauthenticity, his unlived life. This is the reaction Jung spoke of. It can be volatile. He may project his unlived dreams onto you, putting you on an impossible pedestal, seeing you as his savior. Or he may project his own darkness onto you. He may suddenly find you difficult, controlling, or too much. Why? Because your wholeness is making him feel. Your authenticity is highlighting his lack of it. The obsession is not always comfortable. It is a fire. It is a transformation. And as Jung said, when two personalities meet, if there is any reaction, both are transformed. The journey home. So how do we cultivate this? This is the most important part. You must stop making this about him. This journey is not how to make a man obsess. This journey is how to reclaim your own soul. The obsession is just the side effect. It starts with your shadow, that no you've been swallowing for a decade, that anger you've been told is unladylike, that boundary you are terrified to set because you think it will make you unlovable. That is your power, that is your depth, that is your magnetism. That is the dark part that, when integrated with your light, makes you whole. The path is to stop performing for an audience and to start integrating for yourself, to be both the light and the dark, to be tender and to be true, to be vulnerable and to be strong. To become, in a word, real. And when you do that, when you finally belong completely and unapologetically to yourself, you become unforgettable. Not because you're playing a game, not because you're using a tactic, but because you've become whole. And in this shallow world of filters and performers, nothing is more magnetic, more powerful, or more haunting than a soul that is finally and fully itself. If this resonated with you in that deep, quiet place, I want to ask you something brave. Share in the comments, what is one shadow part of yourself, like anger or saying no, that you are learning to integrate? Your story may be the permission someone else needs to start their own journey. Thank you for walking this deep path with me. And remember, don't try to be unforgettable, just be whole, the rest will follow.